So let's sort out the jaw and the eye controls. So I'm gonna create a set of jaw joints, and then what you can do is you can either draw somewhere around here, and to the end to the chin you can draw just a single joint chain, and that depends on your character. If you want to have more control, if you've got a kind of a defined jaw, and in terms of weighting and painting, skin weights and the overall deformations, perhaps you could pick this method where you could have one, and maybe one of them right here. And then one at the end. And we'll follow the same joint orientation. So orient joint. And the last joint we'll make sure is zeroed out. And this is M jaw root M jaw bind underscore bind root underscore JNT. Copy the name, and this guy is M jaw bind mid JNT, and this one without the bind M jaw end JNT. This is not going to nothing to do with the binding. And what I'm going to do is just create a control. So we'll do a nerve circle again. Here we go. I'll turn off my geo. Modify freeze transformation. Actually, yeah, why not? Delete by type history. This is M jaw CTRL. And I'll group it to itself. Control G. CTRL GRP. That's the group name. Once the group is selected. For now, I'm gonna use this orientation. Shift select this joint and press P. Zero out the translate and rotate of our end jaw control group. Here we go. And then we'll unparent it. So when I switch to object, you can see that it follows the same orientation as the joint. Whilst this control is out there, we're going to select the jaw root and shift select the control and press P. And the jaw group, which is up here, let me just collapse that. The jaw group, the jaw control group, is going to be the child of our head control. And press P, so they can rotate and so on and so forth. And then I'll just untick my joint selection and kind of change the shape of this guy in the side view. Turn on my polys, and then I could do something like this. I could have rotated it initially. I think, here we go. And then from the perspective view, maybe I could bring these guys in quickly. And this to so we don't want to confuse the animators. Now this could have a yellow color, or if you want to kind of separate from both the neck and the head control, maybe I don't know, kind of a green color perhaps. It's up to you. It's normally a mid control. Maybe we could just. The trouble is when you select something, it's already the selection is in green. So maybe let's take it back to yellow. That's fine. So the jaw works. And there is one problem. I forgot to change the pivot point of this guy back to the jaw root. So I need to go back and maybe just change the pivot point. I'm gonna turn off the poly, turn on the pivot. Sorry, snapping. Here we go. Bring back the poly. And I'll just see what we can do with this. Yeah, it works. With the jaw, you can also give your animator the control of, moving up and down. Because there is anatomically, you have rotation and also translation too with the jaw, a slight translation, so that jaw socket can move up and down when we open the mouth. So we're gonna keep the translate and rotate and just get rid of the scale, lock and hide selected. And with this guy, we've done it already with those two. So that's in the hierarchy. It's cool. That's cool. It's clean, and they move together. That's fine. And let's move on to the eyes. So I'm going to turn on the body layer and just keep the eyes open. I apply the basic shader to kind of define where the iris are. And I'm going to turn off the joints and maybe the curves as well. Here we go. And the body parts. Right. We're going to create separate joints for each eye. So, but we need to be able to find the pivot, and right now it's not visible. So what I need to do is go and display, transform display and selection handles. Points for now. As you can see, we've got these two crosses. It means they signify the center of our object. Provided that you've already center pivoted and it's kind of a perfect pivot right in the middle of our object. And then I'll just turn on the joint. So what I want to do, turn off the polygons, and I'll create a joint, skeleton, create joints, and just holding on the V key, I can just snap it there and press enter. So this one is R I root JNT. That's going to be the kind of the root joint maybe. Or we could call it RI bind, but that's only to bind the eyes. So I'll duplicate this guy, middle mouse V, just snap it there, and just call this one LI root JNT. I'll use the same orientation, skeleton, orient joint, if it works. Skeleton, orient joint, and just let me just check. It doesn't because it's a single joint, but it's all right. We'll what we will do, we'll parent these joints under the the head control. So joints is selected. Let me just turn off the poly. Joints is selected, and then we select our head root joint and press P. And I'll bring those polys back, and I'm going to turn off the selection handles. They're a bit annoying now. There we go. So if you are at a stage where you've got the the eye geometry done and you're happy with all the shading and everything, perhaps, or it's not the shading as such, it's the shape of it. And you can do the binding, but at this stage, perhaps you can make the eyes the child of their respective joints. So I can select this guy and shift select the I joint and press P. And then I select this one and shift select the I joint and press P. So it's the I joints that going to allow us to rotate and do all sorts of things with our eyes. So what we're going to do is we're going to create some controls. What I like to do is just turn off these guys. I'm going to create a nerve circle, and I'll just snap it up there, turning on the circles. We can always change the shape. I'm just going to call this LICTRL. I'll rotate this 90 degrees, and then using our poly, I'll just move it out. Let me just, here we go. Say somewhere around here, perhaps. You can always shift it later on. Okay, and then we could, if we are happy with the size, we could just duplicate this and use the translate X as our reference and just mirror it to the other side. I'm going to turn on our body layer. Yeah, it should work fine. Cool. And then I'll get this guy. This one is right eye control. That's fine. And then what I'll do, I'll modify, freeze, transform that, delete the history. Same on this guy, freeze, transform, and delete the history. This guy's color is going to be red. There we go, and this guy is going to be blue. Right, now what we're going to do, we're going to use an aim constraint. So we want this I joint to aim to the control. So I'm just going to turn off the polygons, and I'll select this guy, and then I'll shift select our I joint, the left I joint, and I'll go to constrain. I'm just going to bring the aim up. There we go. And I'm going to turn on the polygons just to see what's happening. So if I apply, that's what happens. So it kind of aims in a weird odd direction. Just press Z to go back. And I'm going to maintain the offset and press apply. I'll do the same for this guy. So that and the joint and press apply. So now when they are translated, the eyes kind of aim to those joints. The trouble with this setup is that if I was to rotate the head, this is what happens. The eyes start rolling. You know, we don't want that to happen. That would be quite weird. So I'll go back. You can find those aims and just delete them, or you can simply undo. So that's kind of where we were. Here we go. So there is a solution for this, and that is that if the aim constraint knows, if it does know that what is the up vector, in other words, in the context of this rig, you know, what can we use to signify that the eyes up is Y? So we need to use something to say that, yeah, that object is always gonna represent the up. So when the head is rotated, say right now, so the up is that way initially, you know, as you can see, we're pointing up that way, and you know, so that's up. When I rotate this guy, and its up is that way. So we need to have something that kind of follows the head control, and that can help us to say that that's a reference for defining or to signify the up position within the local space of this head control. So what we can do, for instance, we can create two locators. If I just turn off the polygons and just create a locator and duplicate that. So this one is L up vector lock. Li up vector lock, and this one is Ri up vector lock, and I'll just temporarily snap it to their respective joints. It's not important, their position are not important, as long as show us that we've got some kind of an up thing going on. So I'll just put them up, and we'll make them the child of the head joint. Okay, so when the head is rotated, we know that they too are rotated with it, aligned with that control. And when we bring in our aim constraint, if I just turn off the, well, I don't have to because joints are going to be selected first. If I select our control and then shift select our joint, and so I had a bit of a pause there, apologies, something went wrong with my software. So yes, we've got the setup ready, and we've got our locators that can help us to define the up. So the object up is our first locator, so it's this guy. We're going to select the name and simply paste it up here under the world object or world up object. And also we want to make sure that the aim axis of our eye in this case is Z. So the aim vector is not X, so I'm going to zero out X and I'm going to put 1 in the Z. So that's defined, and then I'm going to select the control and then shift select the eye, the eye joint. It's all done, and press apply. So this time we didn't have to click on maintain offset. It won't produce any offset values, so this is quite cool. And then this guy can do that. And also when the head rotates, we won't have any problem. We won't have any problem with that. It will always aim to that object. So it won't be rolling, it will just rotate and always aim to that eye control. So for the second one, in this case, I'm going to grab this name and then put it up here. And again, this guy too is aiming towards Z. Let me just click on the object. Yes. So aim vector is X, Y, Z. Z is 1, and its object up, and the up reference is this locator. So we'll apply that. So if I select the right eye and then shift select the right eye joint and then press apply. So this is it. These two will do that, and also the head could turn. It's also fine. And finally, what we need to do, we can hide these guys, no problem. We need to create another circle to actually give an overall control to those eye controls. So I'll just go and create a circle, and just snap it there. I don't know their maybe I could use one of the joints as my kind of reference to start with. So I'll just turn off the polys. I'll get this guy there, one of the eye joints actually. Here we go. And then I'll zero out the translate X so that it's centered. Cool. And then I'll rotate it. Here we go. And then I'll align it with the other two. Something like this. Open it up. Scale it first, perhaps. Something like this. And then I'll freeze the transform and delete the history. And finally, we'll kind of give it a bit of a shape. Oops. Okay, something like a binocular, perhaps. That should suffice. And then we want these guys to be the child of that main controller, main eye control. Press P. That's the M_eyes CTRL, and we can make this yellow too. Okay, just going back to our hierarchy. So the eye controls, you could make that the child of the head control for now, or it could be a part of the let's say the part of the neck, perhaps, or the shoulder. But I think initially it's better to set it under the head control, so that it can always move with the head. I'm just going to turn on everything and see what we can do with this. It's fine. You can always scale it and have these kind of weird effects. These guys can move individually as well. So for these guys, we only need translate, so we don't need scale or rotate. Lock and hide selected, and for this as well. And for this guy, I think I forgot to freeze his transformation for some bizarre reason. I'll just go back to fix that. So I'll get these two unhooked. Get this guy modify freeze transform. Here we go. And then I can put these guys under that object. That's it. So for this, we don't think we need rotate, do we? If you want to have these kind of weird things, maybe you can leave them. Or if you want to use the scale to have this kind of cross-eye, maybe scale X. So I'll leave that one there. Lock and hide the others. And we get to the rotate 2. Lock and hide selected. Maybe just that. Should have frozen the transformation on those. It should work. Yes, and for these, it's the translate. So I'll just lock and hide the others, and I'm just going to leave the translate. So we're looking at hide and derotation. That should work. Okay, and then what I'll do, I'll make the gum group the bottom one, the child of this joint. So press P. These are solid objects, and the same for the top. That goes actually to the head joint. Press P. That's it. And for now, I'll put the tongue. I'll make sure that the tongue is a child of the center pivot that. The child of the jaw joint. For now. And I think this is it for this setup. And then next we're going to focus on the legs. So yeah, it's good.